Hello, college algebra. Welcome to week 3. We start with chapter 6, which is matrices. So they're going to ask you about the size of the matrix. The size of the matrix is always the number of rows. So 1, 2, 2 comes first, by the number of columns, 1, 2, 3 columns. And if you think about what the columns are, think of columns in a museum. Those are the things that go from the floor to the ceiling. This particular matrix is of no special type. It's not a square matrix. A square matrix would have the same number of rows as the same number of columns. A column matrix would have one column but multiple rows. A row matrix would have one row and multiple columns. The additive inverse, what you're going to ask yourself, this piece right here has a -8. The opposite of a -8 is a +8 because -8 plus 8 equals 0. In this spot, you have a 1. The opposite of a +1 is a -1. 1 plus a -1 equals 0. The opposite of a 0 is 0. The opposite of 0 is another 0. The opposite of a -3 is a +3, and the opposite of a -7 is a +7. So that's what they're looking for in that particular piece. Identify matrix A as a square matrix, a column matrix, a row matrix, or neither. And then they want you to determine the size. We have 1, 2, 3 rows and 1, 2, 3 columns. If it's 3 by 3, that's going to make a perfect square. And so this is going to be a square matrix. The next piece is going to be when they ask you to add your matrices. The way that we are going to do this, we are going to look and say we have a 1, 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4 matrix. So that's a 2 by 4. We have 1, 2 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. In order to add matrices or subtract, they have to be the same size. What you're going to need to do, click in the box and you're going to see this blue come up on the bottom. You are then going to choose the one that looks like a matrix. You see how it says matrix? Click on that. We need 2 rows by, and I'm going to increase this up to get 4 columns. And then we're going to add across. In the first row, first column, I have a 2 plus 7. 2 plus 7 equals 9. It goes into the same exact spot. 4 plus 0 equals 4. 6 plus a -12, -6. -9 plus 1, -8. Now we go to the second row. 8 plus a -1 is a +7. -1 plus a +8 is a +7. 14 plus a -9, +5. 0 plus 9 is 9. So what they want you to do is you're going to do the same pieces. What we need to do on something like this, you have to multiply 4 times A. This is a scalar. We need to multiply everyone in the first matrix by 4. So the first one, 4 times a -4, 4 times 5, 4 times 9, 4 times -7. That will be 4 times A. Then you multiply everybody in the second matrix by 3, and then you can add them together. You're also going to have a problem like this. They will give you what A is going to equal and what B is going to equal. So you're going to have to do what? Multiply the entire A matrix by -2 and the entire B matrix by a +3. And then you're solving for X. The opposite of multiplying X by 2 is dividing X by 2 or multiplying by 1/2. Once you have the resulting matrix from the addition, you're then going to adjust that matrix. You then also need to set these up. So when a ticket holder has failed to attend, sports teams lose money by these fans not spending the money on refreshments and souvenirs. So what we need to do here is they want me to do the percentage of fans who don't show up, 22% in basketball and hockey, 20% in football, and 16% in baseball. The lost revenue per fan is $18.15 in basketball, $18.36 in hockey, $19.24 in football, and $15.68 in baseball. Total annual lost revenue is $20.5 million in basketball, $39.6 million in hockey, $53.6 million in football, and $93.6 million in baseball. Express this information in the matrix form below. Specify what the rows and columns represent. So basketball, 22% in basketball. The next piece that we want to look at is who's going to go here. Well, we have one number in that particular column, 1836. Well, 1836 goes with what? The lost revenue for hockey. So I know this guy's going to be hockey. And then we have the football column. And then what do we know about 16? 16 goes with baseball. And then we have to figure out who's going to go here. Percentage of no-shows or lost revenue. Well, 22 is the percentage of no-shows in basketball. Just like a multiplication table, this is going to be percentage of no-shows basketball. We look at the number, we go left to see which column, which row it's in, and we go up to see which row. Well, what's the percentage of no-shows in hockey? 22, because note, 22% in basketball and hockey. Percentage of no-shows in football is 20, which means this is going to be what? The lost revenue per fan. So the lost revenue for basketball is 18.15, 18.36 is that hockey, and then we have 19.24 for football, and then that 15.68. Lost annual revenue is 20.5 million for basketball, and then we have 39.6 million for hockey, 39.6, 53.6 for football, and 93.6 million for baseball, 93.6. So that's what they're looking for there. The other things, so this is going to be another, add the two matrices and multiply by 1/2 or divide by 2. Here, what we have to look for, they're looking for A, for X. A times X equals B. So in order to get X by itself, we're going to multiply by the inverse of A. And so the right side is going to be the inverse of A times B. In the announcement here, you're going to find a link. That link is going to be for the inverse of the matrix. So we are going to go back to what our A matrix was. So we have 1, 5, negative 7, 5. So I'm going to go back to my matrix. 1, 5, negative 7, 5. And so that's the piece we have. I'm going to calculate the inverse. I click on my inverse button. And then I'm going to come down, and this is the inverse of that matrix. I then need to multiply the inverse of A times my B in order to get X by itself. I sent a second link that will do the multiplication. So this is your addition, here's your subtraction, and here is your multiplication. So my A matrix here, I have 1/8, negative 1/8. So I'm going to 1/8. And then I also have negative 1/8. And then I have 7/40, 1/40, 7/40, and 1/40. And now I have to multiply that by B. I need to go back to my assignment. That's going to be negative 23, 1. Negative 23, 1. I want to do the multiplication. I hit calculate. And you have to make sure you put it in correctly. And it will tell you you put it in incorrectly. And my answer, negative 3, negative 4. I come back to my assignment, -3, -4. And it's going to tell you you did a great job. As you go through these, make sure you take your time, and you will have the links. So this one will show you the matrix. So you are going to enter each row separated by a column, by a comma, and then you're going to hit enter to get to next row. And then you are going to here, you have your addition, your subtraction, your multiplication, and these pieces you're typically not going to use for this assignment. I hope you have a great day, and make sure you contact me if you have